Welcome back. I'm Louis Feild. I'm here with Lance Robinson. We're here to bring you the 71st edition of the Spanish Fork Fiesta Days barrel racing.
The barrel racing is exactly that. It's a horse race. They run a clover leaf pattern around 3 barrels, and the fastest horse, fastest woman wins. It's an exciting race. It's one of the popular events. We have a power pack performance tonight, and let's get started in the barrel race.
Our first barrel racer tonight is Kelli Tolbert from Hooper, Utah. She's a gal here from Utah that's done very well. She's qualified for the National Finals Rodeo several times, and she's a top contender throughout the country. She's always riding a good horse or she wouldn't win. Here she comes.
These girls are real competitive, and this is a really nice horse, really pretty horse. Just runs around these barrels. There's no horse fast enough that can just run the straight lines fast and win the barrel race. They have to be able to turn. They have to be able to turn the barrel tight and come out of there and have a turn that's time-saving. You can see how this horse really gets down on its left hind leg, the inside hind leg, and turns the barrel and keeps the forward motion going. And there's a difference in riders. These girls that can really ride these horses make a lot of time up also. It's not just the horse, it's a lot to do with the pilot on them. She should have a very good time, 17-1, and that's the standard we're going to go by tonight and work towards that, but that is a good time. 2 of those will work in the average here.
Our next barrel racer tonight is Jenne Winters from Texline, Texas. I haven't heard much about this gal, but at this level, there's always gals come along all the time that are very competitive. We'll see how she does here in just a moment.
Coming from Texas, we know she's a long ways from home. She wouldn't have ventured this far out on the circuit if she didn't feel like she was effective when she got here. She turns a really good first barrel, really good second barrel, has to lift her leg to not knock the second barrel over, real good third barrel. This horse is really moving well between the barrels. She should have a real good time.
Each barrel got better. She was a little wide, and a good first barrel, but second barrel was even better, and her third barrel was just flawless. So a really good run.
These horses that run the backside of the barrel the best are the ones that have the fastest time. It's interesting how these girls have dissected the run here. They segmentize the barrel racing into a lot of different segments to help shave a little bit of time off here and there.
She gets a 17.08, so she went ahead of Kelli by 2/100ths of a second. So here we go with Christine Laughlin from Pueblo, Colorado.
She hasn't, in the last couple years, been out very much. This year it looks like she's trying to make a run at the national finals. She's riding a big, pretty gray horse, and looks like he's full of run. Turns a good first barrel. Second one was really good, much better than the first even. And the horse seems to be running well between there, a little wide on the third barrel, but she could still have a really, really good time. This horse is really running well in between the barrels.
She turned some really good barrels there. I don't know what her time's going to be, but a lot of times they're quite deceiving in what they might be.
This horse really runs between the barrels.
Well, and Christine got a 16.95, so she goes to the lead over the first 2. Each time it gets a little bit faster. Let's go down to Caitlin and see what Christine has to say about her run tonight.
Christine, can you tell us how you felt about that ride?
It was wonderful. The ground was great. I even stepped off a third, and I didn't think it might be quite that fast, but he made up time on the way home. It was a beautiful run.
How much time do you spend every year training, yourself and the horses?
Every day. Every day. There's never a break when you have horses. Every day, snow, rain, cold, it don't matter. You're out there. You're on the road. It don't matter. I have 3 horses with me here at this rodeo, and get up in the morning while it's cool and ride them all and exercise them, and it's a constant, everyday job. Yes.
Next up, we've got Cassidy Dennison from Tahachi, New Mexico. Probably on the reservation down there somewhere.
She didn't compete a lot last year, but this year she's trying to make a run at the national finals. She's in the top 25. She has a horse that looks like it's full of run, kind of wide on the first barrel, a lot better on the second barrel. Runs in between the barrels fairly well. I think that first barrel is going to cost her a little bit of time, but she tightened things up on the second and third. This is a big racing looking horse. These big outdoor arenas suit this horse real well.
You see that horse coming into that second barrel look like he rated off a little bit. It's sometimes deceiving to see. Sometimes it can really fool you, but them horses that'll run through them barrels are the horses that will clock a lot better. She's got a 17.25, so a good run, but not as good as she would have hoped for. Our next barrel racer tonight is Amberley Snyder. She's from the same town as I am, Elk Ridge, Utah. As she runs tonight, she's doing an exhibition run.
Amberley's one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. She works in our business with us. She's real active in the community and in school and college, at work. She has an unbelievable life story, and we'd like to see a segment here on Amberley.
When I very first started barrel racing, it was just me that was figuring it out, and then I met a lady named Stacy Glaus, and she became my coach, my mentor, my barrel racing partner. So in high school, I competed in barrel racing, pole bending, goat tying, and breakaway roping. I don't know, I guess the highlight of my career throughout high school was winning a world all-around title at a finals in Colorado. I remember everything the day of my accident. I was driving to Denver, Colorado for the stock show and had stopped in Rawlins, Wyoming at a gas station. When I got back in my truck, I just hadn't put my seatbelt back on yet. I looked down to check my map, and when I looked up, I'd faded over a lane. And I grabbed my wheel to try to correct my truck. And in my head, I just thought, just don't roll. And in the end, that's exactly what ended up happening. And I hit a fence post on the side of the road, going about 70 miles an hour, and it hit me across the stomach, which is what broke my back. In the time waiting for somebody else to come, I just was thinking through my life. I mean, when your legs aren't working, you can't feel anything down there. It really makes you think about, what am I going to do with this? Or is this really permanent? A paramedic came in my room and he said, if you'd had your seatbelt on, you'd have your legs. I had not cried up to this point about my accident because in my mind, I was lucky. I saw what my truck looked like. I knew what the condition I was in, but I thought if I had been in my truck, I wouldn't be alive. And that paramedic leaves the room and I turned to my mom and I said, my one mistake has changed my entire life. And I did break down and cry. And my mom said, you're gonna be okay. And she reached over and she touched my leg and I felt it. And that was the first miracle that I had after my accident.
People don't really understand the magnitude of her being able to race the way that she is. They think it's amazing that the girl in the wheelchair can ride, but the fact is when she can't, she doesn't have the balance that she had. And sometimes something as simple as brushing her hair can make her fall over. Or if I step on the brake too hard in the truck, she hits the dashboard. There is that little balance without her legs. And so for her to be able to race as fast as she does and compete the way she does is really miraculous.
My family, we have this little quote that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. There are tons of talented athletes out there. But if you can work harder than those people that are talented, then you can outshine them in the end.
Here we go with Amberley. This is, like I said, it's one of the most amazing people I've ever met. Here she's riding, really good first turn, really good second turn. These horses are hard to ride for somebody that has the use of their legs and their whole body. And this is such a great run, and it's such a great horse and great girl to see something like that, that it's almost the time doesn't even matter. You get so caught up into watching and talking about her life. But you know, I don't know about you, Louie, but I mean, we've spent our whole lives in the saddle. It'd be pretty hard to do without your legs, wouldn't it? I mean, almost impossible.
I can't imagine it, and for her to have the fortitude and the desire to keep doing this, I just think that it's a way greater accomplishment than any championship could ever be.
Anyway, it's a wonderful story, and she has such a tremendous attitude and work ethic and never gives up. Also, the barrel racing for her has become a lot more dangerous than any other event in rodeo. She's actually tied into that saddle.
Let's go down and talk with Caitlin, and she's going to visit with Amberley a little bit and see how she feels about the run she made tonight.
I'm here with Amberley Snyder. Amberley, after your run out there, you got a standing ovation. How does it feel to be back in the arena again?
I didn't even know that. Well, that just makes me all happy that they would do that. It's so rewarding to be back running again. I mean, it's something that I've done my entire life. I mean, it's a part of me. So when they told me I wasn't going to be able to do it again, it broke my heart. It was harder than hearing I couldn't walk. And so to be back doing it, it puts that piece in my life back where it's supposed to be.
Okay, so this is your horse, Power. You said you've been riding him since you were 3. What's your relationship like with him?
You know, I mean, any horse that you have and you've ridden for a while, you build a bond with them. And with him, I had him before my accident and then have had him after. And going through a huge change in my life like that with him, I mean, I couldn't trade him. I couldn't trade him for the world because, I mean, he's been able to understand how this has been and works with me through it.
Yeah, so what do you hope to accomplish, or what are your goals coming up?
Next year I plan on getting my permit so that I can start pro rodeoing and being at all those, and then eventually, of course, the NFR. So that's my goal at the end is making the NFR.
That's great. Thank you so much, Amberley.
Well, you can see the joy in Amberley's face and the accomplishment that she gets by being able to refocus her life and be able to compete again. What a neat story that is. What a great individual she is.
I hope she gets there to the NFR, and a big bonus for me would be if she's riding one of the horses I've raised.
Our next barrel racer tonight is Fallon Taylor from Whitesboro, Texas.
This girl is the good. She's been to the national finals numerous times. She's effective at the national finals. She can compete at the very, very highest level. She's going to go to the other barrel first, a little bit wide there, but still made a good turn. A little bit wide again there, and still made a little bit bigger turn there than she probably needed to. A lot of times these girls that are competing so hard going up and down the road, they'll have 2 and 3 horses with them. So this might be a horse she's trying to get seasoned, a little bit more experience on, and maybe her good horse is somewhere she has to fly to go ride. Still not a bad run, but it's not the run that this girl would usually turn in.
Fallon, I think she's one of them gals that she's one of the top trainers as far as the women goes in the barrel racing world. She's had a lot of success, works really hard at it, and just one of the top barrel racers we got going right now.
Let's go to Caitlin, and I think she has Fallon cornered back there, and maybe we can get a little insight into her run that she just made here at Spanish Fork.
Okay, Fallon, how do you feel about your ride today?
I was really excited to make a run here at Spanish Fork. I hit a barrel here last year, so to make a good, clean run that's placing up pretty high, I was pretty excited by it.
And is this a horse that you always ride, or are you switching out horses?
Baby Flo is a mare that I raised and trained. She's what I've been riding all season, so we made a comeback here in Spanish Fork and got out of our slump today, so it's a good thing.
Our next barrel racer tonight will be Benette Little from Ardmore, Oklahoma. I don't know a lot about her, but I think her husband is one of the top barrel racing ranches in the country. They really specify on barrel horses, and they've had a lot of success.
She was at the national finals last year, and her husband Judd Little is big into the barrel racing. This girl gets an opportunity to ride a lot, train a lot, be at a lot of the barrel fraternities, and she's barrel racing through and through. They raise them, breed them, ride them, show them, sell them. They do it all in the barrel racing world.
A good run tonight. Looks like there might have been a couple little small mistakes there that cost her a little bit of time. Slipped a little bit there, but you can tell that that's a really good horse, and maybe he just didn't have his best run tonight. We'll see her time coming up now is a 17:27. So real close, but not quite what she would have hoped for. Our next barrel racer is Sarah Kekeffer from Prescott, Arizona. She's from a rodeo family. I know her husband's a calf roper. Been quite involved in rodeo for probably all of her life. Let's see what she can do here tonight.
I'm sure she, with the rest of the girls here, she's out there a lot rodeo, and she'd like to be at the NFR. The second barrel was a little wide. Horse really runs a lot between the barrels. She could have just a little bit more control in her run. the horse really does try. You know, a lot of times we're real critical of these animals and we think they're machines, but they can slip, they can slide, they can have a bad day, they can, you know, they've been in the trailer all night. The third barrel wasn't quite as smooth as probably she wanted, and it will affect that in her time at 17:20.
Let's go back down to Caitlin and see what Sarah has to say about her run.
I'm here with Sarah Kiekeffer. Sarah, how do you feel about that run tonight?
It was pretty good. I had a few minor bobbles, but hopefully it'll get me a check.
And is this your main horse that you ride every time, or are you switching horses in and out?
No, he's my main mount. All I have is a few colts at home, and I don't even bother bringing them, just so I stay on him.
How did you feel about this arena? Did you like the dirt? Did you like the run and everything?
Yeah, the committee's done a great job here in the last couple of years redoing the whole facility, and they do a great job with the ground. Hand raking after every girl gives everybody a fair shot.
Our next barrel racer is Timmi Ward from Riverside, Utah.
Timmi Ward from Riverside, Utah up north is one of the local girls here competing in the circuit. Hopefully she can turn in a spectacular run against these so-called bigger girls that run all over the country here.
This little horse looks like a real quick-footed horse, but maybe not covering quite as much ground as some of these other horses, but definitely a top barrel horse. I don't know, doesn't look like to me that she'll be quite up with them, some of them top girls, but a real respectable run, kept all the barrels up, rides real well, just a top-notch deal, but maybe off the time just a little bit. Another 17:27. Just not far off, but just maybe a little bit. Maybe it'll get her a check.
Here on the leaderboard of the barrel racing, you can see 16.9 is the leader to 17.13. That's a pretty tight horse race right there. It's they get one run here, and a lot of the money went to girls that are competing at the national finals level. Here, Mary Walker, that won the world last year, she was 17.6. Timmi Ward did sneak in there for a 17:27 to place and get a check, and that's even a big accomplishment there for a local girl when the competition is this high.
For some of these local girls to be able to play ball, per se, with Mary Walker that just dominated the world last year, won the National Finals Rodeo, won the world, and just had an amazing year. For her to be able to be in the same arena with them and win a little bit of money, that's a great accomplishment.
That wraps up the barrel racing. We're going to go to the bull riding now, one of the most exciting events in rodeo here in Spanish Fork.